If you go see Sound of Freedom, you are a QAnon conspiracist, probably a racist, homophobic, white supremacist Nazi who hates democracy, is a threat to everyone around you, believes anything that you say, and you should definitely not go see this movie.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's gonna pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day.
It's interesting to see as much success as this film has had, how much hate this film is getting as well. And there is no better example of this than an article written by Mr. Miles Klee on the Rolling Stone. To the rest of the sizable audience seated for a matinee showing of the anti-child trafficking thriller Sound of Freedom starring Jim Caviezel. For the seasoned moviegoer, this phrase is a joke. Of course, everybody knows it's based on a true story. It doesn't mean that it's a documentary. But he's never had a problem with this in other films, I'm assuming. But this crowd, I could tell, would view the events depicted over the next 2+ hours as entirely literal. This review is not a review of the movie. He sees his purpose as a movie reviewer is to tell you whether the content of the movie is approving to his cultural view or not. He gets really into the QAnon stuff. He says Caviezel is best known for being tortured to death in Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. It's absurd the way that he describes it. It's so full of disdain and hate for this other group. And this really is the problem. We have this us versus them mentality. This is, I don't like the people who made this movie and the people who are excited about this movie, so I hate this movie. And this is really the thing that drives this article. It's all tribalism. And this movie, Sound of Freedom, is bringing that out. Now, what does tribalism and what does this sort of mindset breed? It breeds fear. It's not about whether there's truth. It's just about whether you're associated with these evil things, you're going to be seen as the outcast, as the ignorant, as the conspiracy theorist, and they just try to force you into this from verbal abuse. It talks about the years of this grossly exaggerated epidemic, he puts it in quotes, of child sex trafficking, much of it funneling people into conspiracist rabbit holes in QAnon communities. He is saying that child sex trafficking is an exaggerated epidemic of mass proportions that needs to be brought truth to. And yet, he says, there is visible suffering all around us in America, right? I agree. There is visible suffering all around us in America. There are people suffering from depression, mental illness, poverty, inflation as high as it gets. But what does he see? He says the poor are unhoused and people brutalized or killed by the police. Statistically, there are more children trafficked than people abused by the police, even in his exaggerated realm. This is absurd, and he's denying the truth and trying to get you to deny it as well. 750,000 children are reported missing every year. That, to me, just screams to the amount of kids that can have these things happening to them and go unnoticed. So, yes, the vast majority of that 750,000 are reported, and we're not just talking about reported ones. Child sex trafficking is not reported because it's abused, underserved children who are at risk. These are the people that don't want you to go see this movie. These are the people that don't want you to believe the conspiracy theories of child sex trafficking, or there's biological differences with children, or that you should be an educated person who, knows how to read and write and think for yourself. That all of these things that are associated with racism and white supremacy and bigotry and Nazism and a threat to democracy and all of these terms, they don't mean anything. They're just labels that we throw at people, and to some extent from both sides at times, but drastically, the left just throws this stuff all over the place. So my suggestion, go see Sound of Freedom, make some noise, support causes that you believe in, no matter what anybody says, and hopefully we'll see you at the theaters. If you like this, like, share, subscribe, send it out. There are some other reviews that you could kind of go and see to hear about the good things about the movie. Go see it this weekend. If you want to see it with me, let me know. If you're in the area, we'd love to connect and we'll all go see it together. So God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.